Embrace Diversity Movement Secretary General and gay rights activist Mpho Buntse joins us for more on that story. Mpho, good evening. Thank you very much for joining us on In Focus. The economic freedom fighters separating their mission of Pan-Africanism to what Professor Lumumba does or says in his personal capacity. Did they miss the mark? Is this a missed opportunity?
Thank you very much, Thabo, and good evening to your viewers. Entirely. I believe that we need to speak of politics of intersectionality, which is something that the EFF is missing entirely here. And you can almost get a sense that the EFF is giving everyone a middle finger in saying we're not going to engage on this matter because it has nothing to do with us. And that's where intersectionality comes from. It cannot be correct that we say one thing today and tomorrow, for our own benefit, we go back on our word. So we are saying generally what the EFF has actually decided to continue with allowing Professor Lumumba to address what they view as one of their greatest and important milestones is actually very problematic for us as the LGBTQ community.
So, Mpho, they are saying interrogate the party on its own stance. Don't mix it with that which was said by Patrick Lumumba in his personal capacity. Interrogate the EFF on its own stance on human rights, on LGBTQI plus community rights, and they're saying we as a party embrace that as human rights as well.
And then you wake up tomorrow and invite a person who does not embrace us out of all places at an institution that is viewed as one of the most transformed institutions, particularly when we speak of issues of transformation around inclusivity and diversity. That alone is really problematic. It speaks of the double standards that we've flagged at the beginning of their involvement in the Uganda solidarity issue to say, is this just one of their politicking, or are they legitimate about their true support of LGBTQ issues? And for us, that was the first red flag, excuse the pun, but how we as the LGBTQ movement organized under over 50 LGBTQ and human rights organizations, and 2 weeks later the EFF decides to host their own PR march to the Ugandan embassy was really problematic, and we saw it as cheap politicking. And it was reflected in how they actually, after finding out of Professor Lumumba's stance through international media, they decided to continue with inviting him to come speak at the event. For a party that says it protects and embraces issues of LGBTQ, it would have been correct and acceptable for them to say, we understand Professor Lumumba's position on issues of Pan-Africanism. We respect him equally. But because we understand that South Africa finds itself at a position where, as a country, from our constitution, we are expected to respect the constitution, and part of that is to embrace LGBTQ persons. And we cannot, at any level, decide to bring a person who actually sees how we view issues of LGBTQ different from us. And that's what the EFF is currently finding itself.
Raising that question of President Yoweri Museveni, they are saying that when Museveni came here, there wasn't even a single message. They're saying Twitter was not a buzz, social media was not a buzz, union buildings had no protesters outside. Why must we, meaning the EFF, be the ones that must be dealing with other people's things?
That's not entirely true. In fact, when President Museveni graced our shores, the first thing that we raised as the LGBTQ movement was the double standard demonstrated by our president, knowing that Uganda is currently engaging an anti-homosexuality bill he decided to spend time with him engaging behind closed doors, and he missed an opportunity to engage with him on that matter. And we raised that issue through the media. Over and above this issue, we collectively, like I said, organized over 50 LGBTQ and human rights organizations to raise these matters with the United Nations addressing world leaders. But also, we also led a march to the Parliament of South Africa where we targeted the government of South Africa. So it's not true that we've never been out about it. We've always been vocal about the fact that the president missed an opportunity, and they are actually one of the people that were supposed to protect us. We needed political will. They did not support us with the LGBTQ community advancing our issues alone. And it's not true that we never made noise about it. We made noise about it, and we continuously indicate that the president of South Africa missed the opportunity to actually engage his counterpart on ensuring that this bill does not pass in Uganda.
Yeah, you came in by saying that it was also quite unfortunate that this particular lecture was hosted in an institution that prides itself on inclusivity and transformation. Did you engage with the university, and how did they justify their stance and their position as far as this lecture is concerned?
It's the same response that the EFF would be giving, that they only provided a venue and it's not up to them what happens. And we find that really problematic, because it cannot be correct that you open your house regardless of how much money do you pay me. For me to open my house and allow you to come into my house after disrespecting me and my family. And I think that that's okay. We are saying the University of Cape Town is equally incorrect in how they approach the matter, because of understanding their principles of protecting and embracing issues of inclusivity, the LGBTQ and diversity. They should have actually held that stance to say we cannot allow in our shores, in our campus, a space for a person who spewed homophobia in public media. So that remains one of the people that we are actually finding at the wrong on this one.
Mpho Buntse speaking to us there on the lecture that took place a little bit earlier on, and representing Embrace Diversity.